High School, recording another episode of Georgia Music Matters. I want to thank the music technology teacher at Therrell, Sam Davis, for welcoming us into his studio. And today we have two more Therrell students that we're gonna talk with.
Yes, sir.
Jamarion and Mason. Thank you for joining us. Got a couple questions. Jamarion, I hear you have been to Tech Town before.
I have.
Tell us something about that
ago.
experience.
Well, when I first went to GMEA a couple of years ago, it was about 2 years ago. It was a very fun experience. We just ran a lot of podcasts with a bunch of like tech executives from a bunch of different tech companies. We also got introduced to some executives and members of different DAWs like SoundCloud and FL Studios. We met a bunch of them who actually made the software for us to be able to create beats. So it was cool interviewing them and stuff.
We're proud of what we do with the Georgia Music Educators Conference. And the Tech Town has been a special part of that the last couple of years, and we're looking forward to continuing that. And I hear Mason's coming to Athens this January. Tell us something you're looking forward to.
Well, I'm looking forward to meeting new people. You know, at conferences, you should be able to get some type of opportunities, and I'm really looking forward to that for the organization as a whole.
Excellent. Well, we appreciate Therrell's involvement with Tech Town, and I look forward to seeing y'all up there. What are some things you're looking forward to or expect to see, particularly about music technology there at the conference?
Okay, well, about music technology, we're kind of, well, I've been watching a lot of YouTube, especially when it comes to the audio software engineering. I kind of have an interest in it now since I've joined Pet the Record. So some things I might want to see is like actual live instrument inputs into the audio software, because that seems pretty cool. Instead of just using a grid and placing a sound, you can just make your own sounds. So I hope I see that there.
Okay.
And mine's more like the same. I'm more interested in the beats, because like when I'm listening to music, I typically follow the beat more and less of the lyrics. Of course, the lyrics matter, but I'm more interested in hearing different people's beats and whatever to implement that into my own sound.
Well, I look forward to having y'all there, and I hope that you are fulfilled with what you learn. And we hope all the music educators that are in town for that have a great experience. We also have two special events that take place as part of the Georgia Music Educators Association Conference, and that is the All-State Reading Chorus and the All-State Jazz Ensemble. And next up, we're going to interview the All-State Jazz Ensemble clinician. Thank you, gentlemen.
You're welcome.
We're here today for another episode of Georgia Music Matters. And today, I'll be interviewing Professor Alan Baylock, who is a professor of jazz studies at the University of North Texas. And Professor Baylock will be our clinician, our conductor of the 2026 GMEA All-State Jazz Ensemble. Hello, Professor Baylock. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me here.
Well, we're delighted that you wanted to join us and that we're able to feature you in an interview setting today. Please share a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, as you mentioned, I'm a professor at the University of North Texas. I'm starting my 10th year conducting the 1 O'Clock Live Band, and I also teach undergraduate and graduate conducting. Before that, for 20 years, I was in Washington, D.C. with the United States Air Force Band as the staff arranger and chief arranger for the Airmen of Note. So yeah, I've been in front of big bands for what seems like a long time, and it's really one of my favorite places to be.
We're glad you're enjoying life out there in Texas, and we're glad you're here today with us, and look forward to having you with us in January. I've got a few questions. We'll start with this first one. What is your overall philosophy when it comes to directing a jazz ensemble, especially one composed of top high school musicians like the Georgia All-State Jazz Ensemble?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think my philosophy is to include everybody at the level that they're at, but try to push them to the next level. So especially when I work with all-state groups, I want to meet the people where they are and understand as quickly as possible the level they're at, the investment they've made, the interest they have, and then from there, push them all to the next level. Sometimes it's tricky because people are at all different levels, even in an all-state group. But I love So I think my philosophy is more inclusive, just making sure everybody's invited, everybody feels a part of the group, and everybody feels comfortable and moves forward.
Oh, thank you. How do you approach selecting repertoire for an ensemble of this caliber, and what factors influence your choices?
Yeah, it's tricky sometimes because I've never heard the band before. And fortunately, I see the set lists and from previous years, so I can kind of gauge the level of the band on previous years. But I mean, it's Georgia Allstate, so I can program some pretty heavy stuff. It's not like, a beautiful middle school band somewhere. These musicians will have much, much more experience, and um, I can be a bit more ambitious. Some things that guide my decision is I definitely want to perform one or two classics. Like I'm a big fan of Thad Jones and Mel Lewis, so I'll do a Thad Jones, maybe sometimes a Basie thing. And I often get called to do these things because of my composition experience as well. So I bring a few of my own compositions or arrangements with me. And then also, I like to feature women artists as well. There's so much great music being written by women, and that's a distinct choice that I make in programming to include them as well.
Look forward to hearing what you've programmed this year. Uh,
Yeah.
what are some unique challenges and rewards of working with an all-state level group that only rehearses together for a short time?
Yeah, that's another good question. I think one of the challenges I just touched on a little bit is everybody's brand new to me. So I have to find out their level of commitment, their level of experience, and be able to try to inspire them exactly where they are. And sometimes kids are pretty shy, sometimes they're more extroverted, and they're both, I mean, all types of people are wonderful to work with. But I think the trick is just that first getting to know each other, period. Everybody's brand new. I think that another challenge is the relatively short amount of rehearsal time we have before the performance. And that's by design and is really standard. But especially for younger brass players, it can be a real challenge to pace the rehearsal correctly so there's still something in the tank for the concert.
Answer leads to this next question. How do you foster creativity and improvisation among students in a setting like what you're going to experience in January?
Yeah, I mean, I think especially in jazz, the ensemble aspect of it, the blend, the balance, the intonation, the articulations, the style, as a unit, that's all extremely important, and we'll definitely work on that. But it's jazz, so improvisation is an essential part of jazz, and I like going around the room and making sure everybody who wants to take a solo will take a solo. And I bring a chart called Reunion Blues. It's an open blues that anybody can play on. Um, so I think in terms of the pacing, that's the good news about having, what, like 8 hours of rehearsal in a day. I can work the ensemble, work on sectionals, but also talk about improvisation in general, but also in specific charts as well. And I can touch on theory, improvisation. So our minds are still working, but our faces aren't.
Can you describe a moment from a previous honor group experience that stood out to you, musically or personally?
Yeah, that's a good question also because it follows directly from where we were. I was doing an all-state once, and it was a really quiet, shy, young trombonist. And when I went around the room the very first hour and said, "Just tell me yes, no, or maybe. Would you like to solo?" And it was probably one of the younger musicians in the band also, and they came across with a no. No problem at all. Okay, sure. And then through the course of the hours, the rehearsals, and then the next day, I circled back and just wanted to double check, make sure everybody who wants to solo is going to solo. Came back around and they said yes. And it was a life changing event for them. It was a successful solo, whatever that is. They felt happy about their solo. The audience was moved, and all the kids were turning, saxophones are turning around and saying, "Well, who's that?" So I liked that. That moment really sticks in my mind where the person at first was reluctant, but then through the course of the hours and the camaraderie and getting to know everybody, feeling more comfortable, they decided to challenge themselves, and it was a huge success.
That is very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. What qualities do you believe make a truly great jazz musician, especially at the high school level?
Yeah. Well, I'll talk about big band in particular. And again, this question works perfectly after the previous question because there are really two elements. Well, let me think. there are multiple elements, but maybe two main pillars of elements that make a great jazz musician at the high school level is one, they can play as an ensemble member. Two is they can express themselves creatively as a soloist. And those seem to be at odds with each other because in a section, you're following the lead alto player or the lead trumpet player. You're a part of the team. And you want to be able to, again, balance and blend and match tone and match pitch. You kind of have to give in to all that and become part of the one. But at the same time, you're going to stand up and you're going to express your individuality and your creativity. So if a musician has both of those things together, where they're a solid enough player that they understand all of the ensemble nuances, but they can take a convincing and exciting solo, that's it. That to me is that's it right there.
Very good. Very good. How do you balance tradition and innovation in your approach to jazz education and performance?
Yeah, that's a good one. Here at North Texas, I'm just one of, I guess I'm the fifth director of the 1 o'clock. And actually, it was 3 directors ago, I was reading part of his memoirs. And this was like the late 50s. And he was lamenting that half the band wanted to play swingers and half the band wanted to play real modern music. And that hasn't changed. The 1 o'clock that I work with now, there's some musicians that only want to play what was just written yesterday. And then there's some musicians that really have an affinity towards, Duke Ellington and Count Basie. So it's always a balancing act. So for me, like when I work with the Georgia All-State Band, yeah, I definitely want to go back and touch on some of the tradition because you can learn so much musically and historically from those classic charts like Thad Jones or Count Basie. But at the same time, I mean, it's 2025 and there's so much great music to be featured that was written recently. So I want to do a bit of both and some in between as well.
I conduct a community band, and I face that same
Yeah.
challenge. I'm working on programming for the year, and you want to do some classics, but you want to play new music too. So I get it. I
Yep.
definitely get it. What advice would you give? This is my last question.
Yep.
What advice would you give to aspiring young jazz musicians who hope to one day make the Georgia All-State Band?
Yeah. Um, before it's going to sound funny, but before the jazz happens, before you learn how to swing, before you learn how to improvise, you have to have proficiency on your instrument. So I would recommend that everybody get really good on their instrument. And the best way to do that, of course, is with classical training. Each of the instruments in the jazz ensemble, that transfers pretty well. I mean, brass playing, of course. The better, I'll say I'll say classical, whatever. The better classical musician you are, the better jazz musician you'll be because you'll have your sound together. You'll be able to, your pitch will be better, your facility will be better, your technique is better. All that translates directly into jazz. And then you got to learn how to swing after that. Not a big deal. Saxophone is a little different. There is an aspect of classical saxophone that translates. Absolutely, especially the technique with your fingers, but the sound and setup is very different. Regardless, if you're a drummer, bass player, pianist, guitarist, vibraphonist, vocalist, brass player, saxophonist, get good at your instrument first, and then it'll make the jazz part so much easier and better.
That's some really sound advice that you just dropped on the kids. As we wrap this up, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, I mean, beyond high school, if the young musicians want to pursue a career in music or major in music in college and then go on to be a professional musician in whatever of the hundreds of jobs there are, and not hundreds of jobs, but hundreds of different types of jobs all under the umbrella of music. The other thing that cannot be overstated is just being a good friend or a good person. So much of our work is just word of mouth. You don't usually put ads I mean, there's social media and stuff now, but the people that are working are the people that are cool. They show up on time. They're friendly because nobody wants to work with somebody. I mean, we're playing music and we want to play with our friends. And so the better person they are, the more able they are to get along with each other and drop the ego, the better the chance that they'll be successful in the music business.
That's some great advice for musicians of all types,
Yeah.
not just jazzers.
Yeah.
Thank you, Professor Baylock, for spending a little time with us this afternoon. And we certainly look forward to having you in Athens with us in January.
I look forward to it also. Thanks so much.
Okay. So we're back with Jamarion and Mason. Got a few little rapid fire questions for you.
Yes, sir.
Which comes first for you, music or tech?
Tech.
Music.
Oh, we got a tech and music. Okay, good deal. Good deal. All right. What's your biggest music tech influence?
What do you mean by influence?
Somebody that's inspired you or given you.
Okay. So for me, it'll probably be Starboy. He's a beat maker in Atlanta's own studio, Opium. So that's like Playboy Cardi, Destroy Lonely, and King Carson.
Mine will be Pierre Bourne. He used to produce for Cardi and other major artists that I listen to as well.
Okay, good answers. Hey, what about your dream piece of studio gear?
Ooh, a keyboard that can plug into a computer. Oh my gosh, it'd just be so much easier to input.
Gear. I'm thinking like maybe another DJ board, because, it's always nice to have a spare.
There you go. I can understand that. All right, here we go. Mix or master?
Mix.
Got it. What's been the best decade for music?
I say 2010s.
I'm low key mixed. Actually, yeah, I say 2010s too. Actually,
2 votes for 2010s. All right. Collab or solo?
Collab.
Okay. All right. Who's your favorite producer?
Starboy.
Pierre Bourne.
Okay. I saw that coming based on that other end. Okay. Live or recorded music?
Live.
I'd say recorded.
Okay. A little difference of opinion. That's good. Laptop or desktop?
Laptop.
Okay. Take it anywhere with you, right?
Yeah,
All right. And then when do you like to create? Day or night?
definitely night.
Depends on the mood, but I say night.
All right. There we go. Depends on the mood, but night sounds like.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, can't thank y'all enough for having us here in your studios and at your school. I've been around to a lot of schools in my 3 years on the job, and I'm glad to add Therrell to that list. So,
We appreciate you for coming.
hey,
Thank you.
I plan to be back. All right. Take care, gentlemen.